Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. We'll surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards Football. Today, our video is going to be on the 2024 Atlanta Falcons and their team preview. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and my guest today is a very, very special man to me. Since I've been in this Atlanta area for 28 years, he's one of the best individuals I've met personally. The gentleman played on one of the best state football high school teams in the state of Georgia, the 1987 Memorial Mustangs. Andre Hastings was a teammate. Barry Brown was a teammate. And one thing about this gentleman, I want y'all to understand this. He was the fastest player on the team, and he played nose guard. Think about that for 1 minute. Then the gentleman has played minor league football. He's been very, very in tune in high school football in the state of Georgia. And he's the CEO of DK clothing store here in Atlanta, Georgia, over 20 stores. But he's been an outstanding friend, an outstanding gentleman to me. And today he's going to be our Falcon insider for the 2024 season. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. And our guest today is Mr. Cornel Hardy. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing well. How you doing? Long time no hear from, man. Long time no see, man. Glad to be back.
Stop that, man. Stop that now. Now, you know I be calling you, my brother. How you doing?
I know we be talking, man. I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking. I'm just glad to be back in it, man.
Yes, sir. Let's get to the football topics today. Your Atlanta Falcons. Let's talk about their 2024 NFL season. We know how we do it here on 100 Yards of Football. I get right to the point. I get right to the situation. Anybody knows me, I'm strictly honest, and Mr. Hardy knows how I am. Did you like the coaching hire?
Oh, I love the coaching hire. I love the coaching hire. I talked about the acquisition of Raheem Morris probably about 3 years ago. I put it on my Facebook page. I said the Falcons need to hire Raheem Morris after they made him the interim coach. People thought I was a joke, but at the same time, I was very serious about it. And then now 2 years later, boom, it happened. So I'm very excited about the acquisition of Raheem Morris as head coach.
You didn't think the Falcons should have went with Bill Belichick? I'm just asking.
Well, I don't think so. You know, the only reason why I say that is like one thing that his father said when they interviewed him as far as why he doesn't have a coaching position right now was simply because he cannot get as far as contacting with the new millennial athletes that we have. So therefore, it's pretty much is that either it's his way or the highway. He was not willing to adjust. I think the only time that Belichick really adjusted was when Cam Newton came to New England and he allowed certain things to happen that was not up the norm. And many of those players was like, what the hell is going on here? Cam playing the music loud, he's doing this, he's doing that. But they had to adjust. But Bill Belichick was trying to win at all costs.
Okay, I'm going to keep it real here on 100 Yards of Football, my man.
Yeah.
What was your reaction? You know, I've been knowing you a long time. What was your reaction when the Falcons took Michael Penix with the 8th pick in this draft? Your initial reaction?
To be honest with you, I was excited. But then at the same time, too, I realized that this was a business move. As you know, as we've talked on many times on the radio stations, you know, I was a straight up Eagle. I've been always Eagles fan ever since Ronald Cunningham with Jerry Carroll. So at the same time, I was like, man, hey, when this acquisition happened, I was very excited that the organization did this simply because if you look at the next 2 or 3 years as far as the quarterbacks in college right now, and then also with the NIL deal right now, many of the top quarterback players in college, they stand because of the money that they're getting. So with Michael Penix coming to Atlanta was a great acquisition simply because the fact of the matter is they prepared for the present right now with Kirk Cousins, and they're preparing for the future. So I understand. And plus, Atlanta Falcons have not had much luck with getting defensive ends. I know everybody was talking on the radio station, let's get a defensive end, Let's think about Jamal Anderson. Let's think about Vic Beasley. And let's think about the success that we had with these two players. And then let's think about the ones that we acquired during the free agency. Abraham, what did he do when he was here? You know, so at the same time, it's like we have not had really good luck with I can go all the way back to Rucker. Way back in the day. You don't have defensive ends.
Cornel, you don't think John Abraham did a good job?
No, I'm saying the best defensive ends that we acquired was doing free agency.
Okay.
Instead of drafting people. We have not had much success with drafting defensive ends.
Now, the most serious question I want to ask you today, be honest with me.
Right.
Don't talk to me like we outside here and you don't want to say something. What was your reaction when the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to $100 million? Come on, bro. Come on. Talk to me real. What was your initial reaction?
The first thing when they acquired,
come on now. I know you.
Kirk Cousins.
I know
and
you.
Then I looked at the other players that they could have possibly had got, from Justin Fields to Russell Wilson. The first thing that came out of my mouth is WTH. So, and then at the same time, I was like, okay, I understand, because the simple fact of the matter is that Zach Robinson, who's the offensive coordinator for the Falcons now, that was with the Los Angeles Rams, he came up under the Sean McVay system, which is the variation of the Mike Shanahan system. So I understand, because Kirk Cousins has been up under that system, so it's easy for him to grasp the new offensive schemes, that a variation of the schemes that Zach Robinson is bringing in from the Rams. So I understand that, why we picked them up. However, could Russell Wilson be able to grasp that system just like that too? He has a high football IQ as well, and as well as Justin Fields too. Because understand this, his offensive coordinator that was in Chicago was the offensive assistant under Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur came up under that same system with Shanahan. So basically, you mean to tell me that Justin Fields could not come to Atlanta and they could make a variation of that same West Coast offense, Shanahan offense, and he couldn't grasp that? And not only that too, the amount of money that he was making. So at the same time, I think he's on his fifth year option. They could have took care of that. And then also too, with Russell Wilson, 1 year deal. Look how much money that Russell Wilson is getting from Pittsburgh for 1 year. It's a prove. You got to prove yourself for 1 year, and you be able the opportunity to get a bigger contract. But you have to prove yourself. If he was in Atlanta, he could. I'm pretty sure he would have stepped up to the plate. And let's be real. In Russell Wilson's career, he has the highest deep throw percentage out of all the quarterbacks right now in the league.
Big question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think happened to my homeboy from the 901, the son of Fred Smith at FedEx, Arthur Smith? What really, in your opinion, did him in?
In my opinion, with Arthur Smith, I feel that Arthur Smith, it looked like he had a lot of controls, but I don't think he had a lot of controls. Basically what I mean by that is certain people that he picked up, certain people that he drafted, I understand. I just feel that Desmond Ridder pick was not an Arthur Smith pick. Just my openly honest opinion. And I also feel that Arthur Smith, I think the succession plan was to keep Matt Ryan, maybe for the next two years, have Ridder, which I don't think that was Arthur Smith quarterback, have Ridder to learn up under Matt Ryan, and then after that, Desmond Ridder comes in to become the quarterback in the face of the franchise. I think the situation that happened with the Deshaun Watson, that messed up everything, because they started to go after Deshaun Watson, and then what happened is when they went after Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan was upset. He was in his feelings. So Matt Ryan like, okay, since y'all trying to get Deshaun Watson, I'm out. Trade me. Just let me go. And so at the same time, with Deshaun Watson, I think more so is they're more so looking at we got to sell tickets, we got to sell these PSLs, the season tickets, and also too we got to put people up in these seats. Why don't we bring a Georgia native back to Atlanta that has that? Let's understand now. In the past, Warwick Dunn bought them a house for Habitat. He had his own organization, bought a house for Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson was a ball boy for the Atlanta Falcons. So Arthur Smith knows a little bit more about Deshaun Watson. So at the same time, let's bring a native son home. And then at the same time, because it did not work, well, let's go back to Matt Ryan. Let's apologize to him. Too late. So basically, they said Matt Ryan was his feelings. He left. So now it's like, what are we going to do? We're going to put Desmond Ridder in, but hold up. We need somebody that's going to teach him and that's going to be more so of a mentor to him. But you made a bad move, Arthur Smith. I'm just pointing at you. You made a bad move, Arthur Smith. You went and we already know who the quarterback was.
Yeah, Mariota. And that was not a good move.
But understand this too. Sometimes, as far as us as leaders and people that we have trained and people that we have shown, we think like, okay, this guy got the potential. I'm gonna bring him with me because I've seen it. Because understand, when he got drafted by the Tennessee Titans, Ken Whisenhunt didn't want him because Ken Whisenhunt didn't think that he could fit his system, and then the organization let Ken Whisenhunt go. So because they let Ken Whisenhunt go, you put Mariota out there. Then unfortunately, Mariota didn't step up to the plate. But at the same time, during that time, Arthur Smith was an assistant for the Falcons, assistant for the Tennessee Titans. But he seen the potential possibly in Mariota. However, by the time Arthur Smith became a head coach, Mariota had been in the league for about 6 years. So at the same time, Mariota probably said, you know what, I know I'm a serviceable backup quarterback. Now y'all finna put my hand in line of fire every play. I don't think I'm ready. And that's what we got. The product that the Mariota that we got the past 2 or 3 years was the Mariota that I was expecting that the Atlanta Falcons were going to have. A mediocre backup quarterback. Simple.
We just got a message on the screen today from Chris Wiley, who just hit our Facebook page. We want to say thank you, man, for following us here on 100 Yards Football. Special thanks to you. He asked a question. He said, just face it, we had the wrong GM. Do you believe in that? Terry Fontenot? Do you believe in Fontenot?
I put it like this. I got somewhat of a bold prediction. I just got to say this. Some of the things that Fontenot had, some of the players that Terry Fontenot had acquired, I can see whether it was an Arthur Smith pick and I can see it was a Fontenot pick. However, at the same time, these picks that Fontenot has made this season, last year and this season with Bijan Robinson and with Michael Penix Jr., as well as a Roro, and as well as what's the guy name? I forgot. Trice, which is he's a linebacker for Washington, which he's going to consider to be a defensive edge. But what I feel about Fontenot being the GM, he has done some good. He made some good picks, and he has made some bad moves. However, at the same time, he came into the organization already above the salary cap. He had to figure out something with Julio Jones. He had to figure out something with Matt Ryan.
Good point.
So he had to make a decision as far as what he has to do and had to get back up under the salary cap. So he did the best that he could, and he listened to Arthur Smith, and he brought some players in that could benefit to help the team. Bud Dupree, also John Doe Smith, who was the tight end up at Tennessee with Arthur Smith. And John Doe Smith, the past 2 years he's been with the Falcons, he had a better stat average than Kyle Pitts before he got hurt. And he was more productive as far as touchdowns, as far as yards, and as far as completion percentage as a tight end. So at the same time, he made some good picks. But however, I do not think within the next 2 years, Fontenot will be the GM for the Falcons. Here's why. Here's why. I think there's going to be other organizations that he may be interested. Saints. If something don't go right with the Saints, they may ask for him to come back. And they may work a deal with the Atlanta Falcons as far as picks or whatsoever to get him. Now, at the same time, too, there's a man. Now, hear me out. There's a man that's in California right now. He was the player personnel for the Atlanta Falcons many years ago. And when he came to the Atlanta Falcons, he was a born and bred Atlanta Falcons organizational employee. He's now been the GM for the Los Angeles Rams since they took to the Super Bowl. And also to the draft picks. You look at the draft picks that he has made, and also the head coach that he made with Sean McVay. His name is Les Snead. And also too, he still is in direct connect with the organization. His contract is up in 2026. And if you tell me that the Falcons got an opportunity to bring Les Snead back to Atlanta, because he's from Alabama, back to Atlanta, if you don't think Atlanta Falcons won't try to go grab him, I think you're wrong. Because if you bring Les Snead back to Atlanta, you're going to get some players, and you're going to get some great players coming to the organization, also free agent players and great draft picks. But at the same time, hopefully and prayerfully, if things do not work out with Raheem Morris, which it will, but if it don't, you got Sean McVay over there in Los Angeles too that might want to come back home too. A Marist product, the high school player of the year for Marist back in the day, and he beat out Megatron. That's just another trivia for y'all.
Kevin Johnson is a player of the year in the state of Georgia.
Yep.
Big question. Give me your Atlanta Falcons draft grade. Honestly.
Atlanta Falcons draft grade.
And which player you like out of that draft that the Falcons had in 2024, who you think will make a major impact this season?
I would say Aurora. Because the simple fact is Grady Jarrett is coming back. And let's think about it. We have put free agents, we have put draft picks besides Grady Jarrett to help him out. Grady Jarrett been getting double teamed ever since he came into the league. Ever since they realized, oh, this man is a force. So basically, giving Grady Jarrett a team player, somebody that's going to help him put pressure on that front line, and as well as that, putting pressure on the front line, giving him somebody that's going to help him that he can mentor and he can help in the development. Him and Aurora side by side is going to be a factor. Also, once they develop, wasn't they developed twice? They did the linebacker defensive end, 6'4", 274 pounds. They're going to put him on the edge, real talk. So therefore, if you get your bookends together and you get that defensive line together, you're going to dominate. So I would say Aurora, but I just got real talk. The Falcons got four strong. Falcons on this schedule. They got three playoff teams they got to play right now. The first 3 weeks: Steelers, Eagles, Chiefs. Steelers coming to town. They got to play Eagles away, and they got to play the Chiefs the third game in Atlanta. So it's very crucial that the Falcons are up on their game at that point in time, and they got to analyze and realize who they got that's gonna be able to be dominate in those particular games. And then on that too, let's think about it. From September 29th to November the 10th, you are playing your divisional teams. In that week span, you better got a team here or that. You got to play the Saints twice, you got to play the Buccaneers twice, and you got to play Carolina once. But January 5th, you got to play Carolina. Carolina is not going to be a factor on January the 5th. So therefore, the next 10 games, the beginning of the 10 games, you got to be ready to go. Minus the preseason. So I say Aurora is going to be a good factor. However, if Kirk Cousins ain't being efficient, if Kirk Cousins should just walk off that field and tiptoe and say, ouch, if Kirk Cousins have that Chris Chandler mentality and get knocked out, concussion protocol, and Michael Penix go out there and do his thing as we seen what he did at Washington, game over.
Now you brought up some good points. I'm gonna bring up the offense. Based on the Falcons' offense this year,
right?
New offensive coordinator Zach Robinson coming over from LA,
right?
Drake London, Kyle Pitts, B. John Robinson, Tyler Algier. The Falcons, a lot of people saying their offensive line is going to be strong too.
Yeah.
Give me a point total that they should average in Mr. Cornel Hardy's heart. What should the Falcons average offensively this year in points scored?
Well, with the weapons that the Atlanta Falcons have, they should average at least 26 points a game.
I agree.
Because when Matt Ryan was at the helm, Matt Ryan gave you at least 21. Consistently, he gave you 21. So basically the main thing is if you put 26 up, then the defense got to step and do what they got to do. And think about it like this. Their offense was ranked 17th. They averaged 334 yards a game last year. Their defense was ranked 11th. Their rush per game was 127, if I'm correct, 127 per game. It was ranked 9th. That's the rushing. And their rushing defense was ranked 20th. They was given 118 yards per game. They passing yards, they was ranked 22nd at 207 yards per game. And then their defense was given 202 yards per game. They were ranked 8th. But the points per game last year, they was ranked 26, 18.9. The defense was giving them 21.9. So what that tells you, we ain't going to win no game if the defense not right. And you giving me 18.9 points a game. But if I give you 26 and the defense is averaging 21.9, hey, we may win some games this year.
Defense.
Yep.
What area of the defense you think the Falcons need to improve? We're not even going to say win a division, but we're going to talk about Super Bowl caliber. what area of the defense they need to improve to be considered Super Bowl caliber?
I got to say on the edge, you got to put pressure on the quarterback. Many people already understand the schemes that Atlanta Falcons execute per the games and all that stuff. Many people know that Grady Jarrett coming back, but is Grady Jarrett going to be 100%? Are we going to have the same Grady Jarrett that we had the past couple of years? But but the thing is that they're going to have to require a edge rusher to be able to come at the quarterback, because if the edge rusher and the interior line is coming after the quarterback, he has to release that ball. And we already know from a quarterback, you only got 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to release that ball. 3 seconds on a good protection. And at the same time, but if you're putting a pressure on that quarterback will have to jump outside the pocket. Now, at the same time, we're dealing with quarterbacks that scramble or whatsoever. However, we do have to have consistency on the secondary. I think we got Jesse Bates. We already know what Jesse Bates can do. We know what AJ Terrell can do. But do not sleep on Clark Phillips. Clark Phillips is handling it. He's a smaller version, but Clark Phillips reminds me of the guy that we had a long time ago. I forgot his name, but
Grimes.
Yes, Grimes. So at the same time, I think that if we get us some edge rusher to contain the quarterback in the pocket, I think the front line we'll dominate. I think we'll be prolific. Because let's think about it. When Atlanta Falcons went to the Super Bowl in 2016, who was knocking Tom Brady down? Grady Jarrett. Who he had around? Who he had aside? Who he had along beside him? He had some players. So we're gonna have to find somebody in free agency during the preseason to come over here and help us on that edge.
Big major question here. Bijan Robinson. Does he take that next step and have the Mercedes-Benz Dome in the era of Michael Vick? Does he take his game to the next level when we looking at him like Michael Vick? Must see TV. Must attend games on Sunday.
Yeah. I will tell you this. Bijan Robinson, I think he averaged 907 yards last year in rushing. However, all-purpose yards, I forgot how much he had in all-purpose yards, but if Kirk Cousins is the Kirk Cousins that I think he can be, Kirk Cousins not gonna hold that ball too long. If you look at his pass progressions, and if he does not have the person that he think is open, he's gonna dump it out to Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson is gonna be a safety plug. But as far as getting the dome rocking and everything, it would have to be Bijan and alongside Drake London, who averaged 905 receiving yards a game last year too. It's gonna have to be them two. But they re-signed him. If Kyle Pitts step up and change his game, now the house will be rocking. Because now we already said he was a unicorn. Now we got a tight end that can dominate, that can create the mismatches, that can perform, that's gonna catch the ball at the highest peak, and that's gonna dominate. So if it's gonna take all three of them for the dome to rock. And now let's be real. We signed Kirk Cousins to that $100 million contract, but understand this: you got to prepare for the present and you got to prepare for the future. Kirk Cousins is the present. Phoenix is the future. However, at the same time, both parties can work together as one. But at the same time, too, Kirk Cousins know I got pressure behind me. I got to perform and I got to dominate, because if I don't perform, I don't dominate. I got this young man right here that's ready to roll at any time. And so it's just like what's that? Any given Sunday, part 2. This is what we got going on right now in Atlanta.
Looking at the division.
Yep.
My opinion, the Falcons should win this division going away. I'm just being honest about it. With the talent they have, what they've done at the quarterback position, with the playmakers they got on offense, defensively, I like what they've done in the draft. What team you think is going to give them at least resistance in the division, or maybe challenge them for the division?
Talent skill, I would have to say. The Buccaneers. I have to say the Buccaneers, but we already know what Mayfield do. He ain't consistent. If Mayfield hot, he's hot the whole game, and he got the weapons. He got the weapons that he need. But at the same time, too, with Todd Bowles being at the head coach, and know that defense. And let's not understand, we know where Todd Bowles came from. He came from Arizona. He also was the head coach of the Jets, but he has always put a dominating defense out there in Tampa. He may not have an offense, but he always had a dominating defense out there in Tampa. However, you're going against Raheem Morris. Let's not forget, Raheem Morris was a defensive back quality control coach for Tampa Bay as well when they won the Super Bowl in 2002. At the same time, he was also defensive backs coach with the Washington Redskins when they had the Sean McVay, they had McDaniels, they had Shanahan, and they had Daddy Shanahan there, and they had LaFleur there. You had the top offensive coaches right now that's in the league right now. And let's not forget too, when he came to Atlanta, he was he did the defensive backs coach. But when Dan Quinn came in, he took him off the defense and made him a wide receiver coach for who knows why. But if Raheem Morris know that system, Raheem Morris was a student up under the Monty Kiffin. And we know who Monty Kiffin is, who was Lane Kiffin's dad that ran those Tampa 2 defenses down there in Tampa with Tony Dungy. And let's not forget the head coach that's up there on Pittsburgh too. That was up under that same tutelage as well. So I would say Tampa. If Baker Mayfield gets hired, if our secondary is not up to par, because we got AJ Terrell back and Clark Phillips here, but we got to have some backup behind them as well. So I would say Tampa. I don't think Carolina. Nah. Saints. Nah. I just don't see it.
Your final words for the Atlanta Falcons 2024 this season.
Man, you know what? I cannot really give final words, but what I can tell you is this, simple as this. And I got my little marker right here to show you, and I got my assistant right here that gonna help me. Let me show you something right quick. So this is Kirk Cousins working against winning teams. He's 16-47.
Ooh.
Against winning teams now, he's 16-47. Check this out. He has only won one playoff game in 4 starts. Only one playoff game. Now, his record, his overall career record, he's 78, 70, and 2. But understand this, I'm not a preacher, but if I was a preacher, I'm trying to tell y'all something right now. Monday night, his career on Monday Night Football is simple as this. He is 3-10. 3-10 on Monday Night Football. 3-10. Thursday Night Football, when he plays the games on Thursdays, he is 4-6 on Thursday Night Football. So at the same time, on primetime games, when he has played primetime games, Kirk Cousins is, I'm sorry, y'all, 7-9. So at the same time, it's like either Kirk Cousins is going to be my first cousin or Kirk Cousins is going to be my distant cousins. It's simple as that. So with the stats that Kirk Cousins has shown, and understand this, we have four primetime games this year. And with the stats that have just been shown to me with Kirk Cousins as far as his performance that I had on this board, Kirk Cousins better step up. Or these fans going to step back out, go outside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and tailgate like they usually do and watch TV. But right now, like I said, I was an Eagles fan. I'm a Falcons fan. And in my stores right now, I dress them up just like this, baby boy. So I'm a Falcons fan right now. When the Falcons don't step up, we're gonna go back to green. We're gonna go back to green, tie the bow tie. So that's all I got, boss man.
All right, Cornel, give the people out there your contact information. They want to talk about football. If they want to come down, buy some suits from you, DNK, give the audience out there your contact information.
All right. Pretty much you can go to our website, dnksuitcity.com. We got stuff online where you can shop from the suits, the tuxedos, the ties, and the bow ties. As a matter of fact, D. Orlando Ledbetter will be rocking some of our bow ties when he goes to do the Bow Tie Chronicles and everything. He got to come pick them up. But also, as well as you can check my I haven't started I got my page, but I haven't got the podcast together. It's called Milk the Clock on Facebook. I haven't started the podcast yet, but otherwise than that, we're working on that. And also too, it's called Football and Fashion that me and Mr. Leon Harrington is putting together as well. So it's coming real soon, man. We're just talking about fashion, talking about football. And you know, it's just like your mom and auntie on the front porch talking about people. That's what fashion and football is about. We just talking about it and telling it like it is.
Well, I say this with my final words today. 100 yards for football. It's always an exciting time when the football season starts. And we got a tremendous staff that I want to give credit to. First of all, to my talented producer, Mr. Logan Landis, for making this thing very good for us. A young man out of Houston, Texas, Mr. Jason McLaughlin, we know him as Jay. And a young man out of Grand Junction, Colorado, Mr. William Yanis III. Of course, our NFL guy, Mr. Bobby Butler, much love to you, former Atlanta Falcon, Florida State great. And to Mr. Jeremiah Long, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for him believing in me some years ago as we put this podcast together, in my business partner, the great Ronnie Keebler out of Brooklyn, New York, and my man who's done a lot of great voiceover work for us, Mr. Mark Denham, out of the great state of Texas, Lufkin, Texas, the eyes of Texas on you. I'm going to say today there was a star born. It was that gentleman right there in front of you, Mr. Hardy, Cornel Hardy, as he put it down with the Atlanta Falcons 2024. There's been a lot of people who came on 100 yards of football, but I cannot say that this gentleman did a phenomenal job today. And he broke it down why the Atlanta Falcons going to be successful, why they not, why they took Kirk Cousins and signed him to all that money, why they drafted Michael Penix III. If you didn't understand and get fired up what Mr. Hardy said today and want to get down to the dome when the Pittsburgh Steelers come in September, something is wrong with you. So much love today to my producer, Mr. Logan Landis, for making it happen. Once again, to the very talented Mr. Cornel Hardy for joining us here today on 100 Yards of Football. I've been your host, Vincent Turner. Y'all be blessed here. Go Falcons.